I always like to step back and sort of think about these things in terms of historical perspective. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with Ezra Klein. He's a journalist, one of my favorite authors, and I highly recommend his book, Why We're Polarized. And I have to keep bringing myself back to what he's pointed out. And that is, right now we feel like politics is so contentious and we're on the edge, and, democracy is in peril, and there's all this conflict and there's so much partisanship. And if you look across American history, this is normal. The exception, I am so sick and tired of hearing about how Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan had drinks every Friday. And it was great. And it was the good old days on Capitol Hill. And, it was all this bipartisanship, and everything on Capitol Hill was great down in Washington, D.C. The 70s, 80s, and 90s, I mean, that's our frame of reference now. And those were the anomalies in American history. Think about what was going on in the 60s in this country and in the early 70s. Think about World War II. Think about the Depression. Think about the Industrial Revolution and all of the labor unrest that was going on in this country 100 years ago. That's the norm. And in a way, I find that very reassuring in a very twisted sort of way, because it's like, okay, we made it through all of that. And we came out the other side, sometimes in better shape than when we went in. And so I think to me, I always have to step back. It's like, all right, let's look at the big picture. And yeah, 2024 is going to be critical, and everything that, was mentioned already is really, really important. But I think it's also important to keep, put that in historical context too. And at least it makes me feel a little bit better.